things today, and you're going to be able to hear from one of our very own Magic School users, Dr. Erin Unruh, and I promise for you to be able to be delighted and surprised by all that she's going to share today. But if you were a hesitant user of AI, or you still are, or you know teachers that are, you're going to learn all the ways that Dr. Erin was able to get people to really see the value in it and with her students. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself. My name is Amber Trout, and I'm the Senior Community and Social Media Manager here at Magic School, but was a former educator for 11 years prior to that. So I know that teachers do 10 times more work than they get paid for. So thank you for being here. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week if you haven't heard that this week, because you're doing so many great things, and we're super excited for you to join us. I am in the Tampa, Florida area, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to Dr. Erin so she can tell you a little bit more.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Erin Unruh. I am an honors and AP chemistry teacher. I teach in Richmond, Indiana, and I live in Ohio.
Yay. Okay. Well, thank you, Erin, for joining us, and for all of you being here tonight. We know it's a work day. It's a work a weekend, daytime, I guess, weekday, night, which you're probably doing a lot of other things, but you're here with us. So we appreciate that so much. So first and foremost, we know that there's a lot of you probably here that may or may not know the full capacity of Magic School. And so in order for you to really get the best out of what Dr. Unruh is going to tell you about, I want to make sure that you see a little bit more about what is Magic School, or maybe just a quick preview of that for those of you that are new to the platform. So I'm going to take you on a quick tour of Magic School and MagicStudent, which you're going to see a lot of from her today. And we're going to, of course, play around with all the great tools, but I'm first going to show you how it can really impact you in your classrooms. So first and foremost, if you're not familiar with Magic School, it is the most amazing tool to save teachers time. That is going to be one of the best things that Magic School does for you, because all of the time you did spending time building presentations and going through and building rubrics and formatting things, that's no more. The research is happening within the platform. All the things that you need is built in here, and it's going to save you so many hours within your days, weeks, months, and years. So we are recording. Don't you worry, you're going to have access to this later for those of you that are asking once more. Now, you're going to see that we have 80 plus teacher tools in the Magic Tools side. This is going to give you access to all sorts of different things that you're going to be able to have access to. And it's not just for teachers. We have admin tools, we have student supports, we have all the different things that you may be in, subject areas, grade levels, or role or title. You're going to find a tool for you in here. Now, the hardest part about using AI when it comes to being able to build out things and create content is the prompting, right? You don't know what to say into a Chat GPT or a Gemini. You're not sure how to be able to get the output that you want that's K through 12 specific. So we have designed tools that are going to have teachers in mind. There's pre-prompts in there. There's things that are going to give you the ability to get exactly the output that you need. So I'm going to show you a quick preview of a couple of my favorite tools, which are the presentation generator and the image generator with Adobe. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. I'm going to click on this tool here, which is the presentation generator. As you may know, presentations take a long time, right? You got to put in the slides, you got to put in the content, you got to format them, you got to check for spelling errors. It's like all the things. So what you can do is within these different tools, you'll have access to choosing a grade level, choosing the amount of slides you want. You can put whatever topic, subject, standard, content, objective, or you can upload anything. So maybe it's a website, a Google Doc, a PDF, anything can be added in here for additional content. Or you can add additional criteria. Maybe you're working with a certain set of standards. Maybe you need certain criteria that needs to be happening within this curriculum. You can upload all of that into here and make it so it's custom to you when building out these prompts. Now, if you're like, I just don't know what this does, I just want to see what it does, no problem. You can click on exemplar here at the top. You're going to see it's going to fill and pre-populate everything in here for you so that you can just click generate, or take a look at the bottom at how you would get different prompts and different output. Now, what is the nice part about Magic School is that we have the ability to help you with prompts. So you can see that it says the process of mitosis. Okay, that's kind of boring, right? Like, what if you need to be able to add a little bit more to make it a more robust lesson? You can click on the prompt assistant, which is get help with my prompt here. That's going to take whatever you put in there. It's going to improve the prompt. It's going to tell you what it originally was and all the ways that it improved it. And then I say, yeah, that sounds great. The stages, definitions, and the relevant diagrams. I'm going to click accept, puts it in there, and then I can go ahead and generate. So it's saving you all that time on how to really rework your prompts, make it the best for you. It's really awesome. So this is what you'll have the ability to do. Now, what you can do with this slide presentation is that you'll have the ability to then export it to slides. So if I click on export, you're going to have access to just taking it into a Google Slides presentation, a PowerPoint, wherever you want to export this to. It's going to give you access to doing so here, and it takes it right into that document for you. So let me go ahead and just export this to slides. You're going to see that all the content that I have in here is now going to put this into slides, and it's going to put it into Google for you. So I'm going to click on open slides. All of this content is now in here and ready to go for me. And I don't have to worry about creating it, copying, pasting it, putting whatever I need in there. Everything will be built out for you. So super easy to do when you're utilizing these tools. Now you also have at the bottom here additional things to be able to continue with your prompt. Like maybe you want clarification on the mitosis process. Maybe you want to inquire about a teacher quiz questions on this. Whatever it may be, you can continue the conversation down here and keep on tweaking and adding to it. You also have action buttons here where you have to translate it. Someone asked about, can you translate it into Hebrew? Yes, you're going to have access to all of that in here. You're going to have all these different languages right here, and then it will translate it for you. You also have the ability to use custom tools in here to differentiate things, to be able to add questions, or even just add a custom prompt that we'll take into consideration as you're building these out. So many great things. I know the action button is my favorite because there's so many great things. We also have on the teacher side only is the web search button. So web search is one of our newest features where if you want to pull from the live internet, of course, for teachers only, not students, you can do so and having up-to-date information to be able to then continue making this relevant to your classroom and to things happening in the world today. So turning on web search will pull from the internet, turning it off, we'll just pull from our database right here within MagicSchool. So this is a really great way for you to get started playing around with tools. A presentation generator is an easy way to be able to just say, hey, what can I do with MagicSchool? Now you also have this really cool one called the image generator, which is one of my favorites as well, where you can use the Adobe image generator where you can do text to image, and you can describe a prompt that you want to be able to then create and then add to your presentation. So maybe you want to say, I'm just going to grab something crazy and say ocean habitat with animals, okay? I need an ocean habitat with animals. Perfect. So you're going to see that it's going to then pull up an ocean habitat and it's going to add some animals in there for me so that I can use it for, let's say, a presentation on animal habitats, right? Maybe that's something you need. So perfect. I like this one. It's got lots of creatures in it. I'm going to click Save to MagicSchool. It's going to save this image for me. I'm going to say Teacher Appreciation Week Webinar 2.0. Perfect. It's going to save. I have the access to now have this image now created within MagicSchool with the Adobe Express platform, and I can just download it and be able to then add it to my presentation. So let's say I download it here. I can then take it to my slides if I wanted to. Control-Shift-T, here it is. And this is not on mitosis, but if I really wanted to have this as animal habitats, I could just pop it in there and then I'm ready to go. Now I have a whole presentation, a graphic added to it that's custom to whatever I'm working on. So there's so much functionality within MagicSchool that you can do. That's just in the Magic tools. I haven't even showed you the MagicStudent side or the Raina chatbot. So let's take just a quick peek at Raina. Raina is made for schools and for K through 12 education. Think of Raina as your ChatGPT for education, okay? You can tell her anything, you can ask her anything, and you can, of course, be able to get information. So maybe you need behavior supports for 5th grade, okay? Supports. You know, when you're typing online in real time with people, it's very, very hard to do. So I said I want behavior supports for fifth grade. It's going to go ahead and do that for me. And I can literally ask her anything in here. And it's a really great way for you to just like, I don't know which tool to use. I'm just going to pop it into Raina. You can see all of the great things that I've just been using in here and doing with Raina. And I can continue the conversation again, where I want specific behavior supports for individual students, whatever I might need, I can ask Raina. So use Raina to your advantage. She is your BFF. There's so many things you can do with Raina. Now, MagicStudent is going to be the last place I'm going to take you before I turn it over to Dr. Erin Unruh. So you're going to see that in MagicStudent, we have a collection of tools, just like we do on the teacher side, but for students. And here's the nice part. You are making sure that they are safe and secure when using AI. We have made sure that they are going to be things that are going to make sure students are feeling safe. They have digital literacy within here, and they have the ability to use tools that are not going to cause concern for schools, districts, or parents. Now, you have access to a tools playground as the teacher to be able to see whatever tools the students will be able to use and have access to play around, to put prompts in there, to see what they do. You have 50 plus tools on the student side that you can choose from. Writing feedback is my favorite, where the students will be able to have described the assignment as the teacher, but the students will have the ability to pop in their writing in there. It will then go through all of the criteria that you've put in this chatbot and then be able to give them writing feedback instantaneously. Unlike taking hours upon hours to grade 30, 40, 50, or 100 papers that you might do as a teacher, right? So you have the ability to have students taking that learning into their own hands. Now, in the student tools here, this is the playground for all of them, so you can play around with them, but you also have the way to build and create new rooms. This is going to give you the ability to say, hey, I want this tool, I'm going to customize this tool, and you're going to kind of make a toolkit and a collection inside of a room for students to be able to join. The nice part is that you see all input, you see all output, and you know exactly what students are saying and what things that they're getting as an output from the AI tools. So you're never losing track of what they're doing. It flags any information if it's going to be something that's maybe harmful or self-harm. So everything is going to be in here for you. So in your student rooms, like I have here, I can see the active student rooms, how many people are in them. And then these little flags right here is telling me, hey, there's something in there that could be flagged. Maybe it's talking about self-harm. It's something they shouldn't be doing. I can check into that and be able to see. So as a teacher, I have full control and know what's happening on the student side. Now we also have the ability to just grab templates. Maybe you're just brand new to the student side. You don't know where to start, but you really just want to utilize some of the tools with your students to kind of play around. We have student room templates built out for you, 81 of them if you must know. And you're going to be able to see that you can click on more student room templates here, and it will take you into a place where you have access to all different student rooms that you can pull from and be able to utilize today. Like, let's say AI literacy, digital citizenship. It's a great one, right? Let's get started with that. If I click on it and then I click on the student room here in purple, it's going to pop open. It's going to say, what grade level do you want this for? I want it for 8th grade, and I'm going to click add room. This now gets added to my MagicSchool side. I can now add students into this room, and it's going to just give me a quick URL to join, or however you're going to have students come in there. So this is an easy way for you to be able to get started without having to build the rooms yourself. All these templates are available to you, and they're available to you on the free version. So you have access to these things on the free version. So do not worry about that. It's super easy for you to use and be able to get started with today. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen because what I'm going to do is let Dr. Erin take over because she's going to take you into the student room experience.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. All right. I'm so excited to be here. I will introduce myself. That way you know kind of who's talking with you here. And then we'll get started with the fun. So my name is Dr. Erin Unruh. I graduated from the University of St. Francis, Fort Wayne in 2019 with my bachelor's degrees in chemistry and biology. And I just recently graduated from Miami University in Oxford, Ohio in 2024 with my PhD in chemistry and biochemistry. And I am now home at Richmond High School teaching honors and advanced chemistry. And I say I'm home because I am teaching in the classroom where I first took chemistry 12 years ago. and where I fell in love with the sciences and where I fell in love with teaching. Shout out Renee Thrasher, the best chemistry teacher in the world. Um, when I tell you that I love my job, you have to believe me, I love my job. Um, I've known my entire life that I was going to be a teacher. I pretended like I was going to do some other jobs along the way, but I always knew that I would end up teaching. I spent my 5 years at Miami teaching undergraduate courses from freshmen all the way up to seniors. And then I spent my 4 years in undergrad doing paid peer tutoring. So I've really been teaching as long as I can remember. And so I felt really prepared coming into this job. I felt prepared to build these relationships with my students. I felt prepared to make assignments and grade them. I felt prepared to do labs and grade the labs. What I was not prepared for in my classroom was the looming technological advances that we all know and love as AI. I was the poster child for anti-AI in grad school. That is the truth. I was the ugly duckling. When we had these conversations, I was always arguing against AI. To me, it was terrifying. How can we, as a society, as humans, how can we give up our control? How can we give up our power to a computer, to an artificial intelligence? It sounds really dramatic, and I was really dramatic about it. I was unable to and unwilling to find benefits to artificial intelligence. It's scary. We're humans. We should be in control. What do you mean a computer's doing this? I was all the way against it. So when I started my job, and in our professional development settings, they introduced MagicSchool. And they said MagicSchool is AI for students. Oh, I was skeptical. Skeptical is an understatement. I was already freaking out about how I'm going to battle AI in my classroom. How am I going to prevent it from being used? How am I going to make sure that my students' work is their work? And here they go saying, here's some AI we want you to use in your classroom. Okay. So I was skeptical. I was really not going to do this. I thought I teach chemistry. There is absolutely no way that I can put AI in a chemistry classroom. That's impossible. No, thank you. But I'm a team player. I follow the rules. I do what's asked of me. So I went into MagicSchool and I was playing around and I thought I have to find some way to use this because they're asking me to, and I follow the rules. So I got in there and I played around with it. And spoiler alert for the rest of the presentation, I love MagicSchool. I got in there and I played around with it, and I love how user-friendly it is. I had no experience, obviously, and I got in there and I was able to use it. I loved being able to look at the different ways that this could benefit my students. And so ultimately, I love MagicSchool for giving me a love for AI, and showing me that there actually is a place for this in education if we do it correctly. So I am going to talk to you today about how to use one particular tool, the character chatbot. Very, very easy tool to use. You need very minimal information to use this tool. And I'm hoping that once I show this to you, you will play around with the character chatbot, hopefully incorporate this into your classroom. And the goal would be for you to graduate to the custom chatbot, which is very, very similar to the character chatbot, but you get a little bit more creativity, a little bit more independence for what you can give the students. So I'm going to show you how to do the character chatbot today, practice with that, and then hopefully graduate onto the custom chatbot. So before I take you into MagicSchool and actually show you how to build the bot and what all the ins and outs are, I'm going to give you a little bit of context for why I was using the character chatbot in the first place. And so some context for the assignment that I gave my students. They were given about 30 riddles about different elements on the periodic table. It's probably been a while since we've seen one of those, so I put it up here just for our refresher. When I'm talking periodic table, there she is. And so I gave the students riddles where they had to figure out what element that riddle was talking about. And some of those riddles were pretty challenging. And I wanted an interactive way for the students to do this assignment instead of just spinning their wheels trying to figure out which element it was. And so I'm thinking, I thought, how cool would it be if the kids could talk to the person that created the table? light bulb, magic school, they can. They can talk to the guy that created it. He died in the 1800s. That's fine. They can still talk to him. So what I did is I transformed the character Chatbot into Dmitry Mendeleev, who was the creator of the table himself. And so the students were then able to interact with this Chatbot, give them the riddles, and then help them solve the clues. So I'll go ahead and head over to Magic School. All of my tabs were hidden. Here we go. So this is my Magic School home screen, and we're going to head over to MagicStudent where you left off with Amber. And I'm going to come over here into my corner and I'm going to click Create New Room. And so once this starts to load, move my little box around, you may notice that my Magic School looks a little bit different than yours, and I'm going to let Amber talk on that for a second here.
Yes, so you're going to have access to student rooms on the free side of Magic School. So Erin is going to be working with a different version of it. So she's on an enterprise school account. Woo! But all the things that you're going to have access to, you're going to be able to utilize through the free side. She has a require login button. That's just something that would be different if you had single sign-on with your school. We're going to take that off for you today so you can join. But just know that a lot of the stuff that you've been seeing and everything that Erin is going to be showing you will be available in the free version as well. So you can get started with it today.
Thank you. All right, so we are in our Create New Room, and I'm just going to walk you through step by step how I put this room together for my students to look at. And I'm hoping that as we go through this, it's going to spark some ideas for you for a character that you might want your students to interact with. So here's our original room creation screen. Room name, this is going to be what you want the students to see. And so I'm just going to go ahead and call this the Element Investigation Room. Here's your grade level. Choose which grade level works best for you. I teach mostly 10th grade, so I'll go ahead and leave that there. And then for your max students, depends on how many students you have. I have about 120 kids. My go-to is to throw in 500. It kind of lengthens the amount of time until you have to go back in and re-up. So 500 is a pretty sweet spot for me. And then Amber mentioned this. I'm going to turn that off. That way anybody and everybody can join this room if they want to. So you've got your room named, your grade level, and your max students. We'll go ahead and click Next. And so here's the screen where you can select your tools for your students. Of course, they've got all of these amazing tools down here that you can choose from. We're looking for the character Chatbot, and I do see it down here. But if you are searching for a particular tool and you can't find it, come over here to your search bar, find what you're looking for. So you find the tool that you want. You can come down here and click the tool, and it's going to move it up to the top of the screen, and that's going to show you the tools that you have selected to give to your students. So for this particular room, I only gave them this chatbot. You could put some other study tools in there, but for our purposes, we'll go ahead and just leave the character chatbot. So you've got all the tools you want the students to have. We'll go up here in the corner and we'll click Next. Here you're on your customization screen. This is where you get to put in all the magic. That pun was kind of intended. So you can click on your chatbot or any of your tools that you want to edit and click Customize. So once you've opened up your configuration screen, this is what you're going to see. The left-hand panel is everything that you are able to go in and kind of edit. And then the right-hand side is going to give you a preview of what the students are going to be able to see. And so you'll notice over here on the left-hand side on your configuration panel, there are kind of two sections separated by this gray bar here. I'm actually going to direct you to the bottom of the screen first, and then we'll work our way back up. So in any tool that you use, you'll notice that this section has the selections and they have little eyeballs next to them. These eyeballs tell you what you can toggle on and off for the students to be able to see. So obviously you probably don't want them to be able to change the grade level. So a gray eyeball says that the students are not able to see that. And again, you can kind of verify that on the right-hand side that you can't see it on the student preview. Down here for the character chatbot, here is where you are going to input your character, author, or historic figure that you want. There's an eyeball option here, so depending on how you set up your assignment, the students could pick someone they want to talk to. But for my purposes, I wanted Dmitry Mendeleev, and that's it. So if I turn off that eyeball, the students are no longer able to see that option. So I will actually go in here and type in for my historic figure, Dmitry Mendeleev. He is the man who designed and created the periodic table. So that's what I want to put in my bot. Okay, so that takes care of the bottom section. So we'll circle our way back up to the top. This is the name for your chatbot. This is whatever it is you want your students to see. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put Dmitry Mendeleev on there. And for your description, this can be anything that you want the students to interact with or to see or to read. You could put your instructions here. You could take on the voice of whoever your character is and talk to the students that way. But I'm gonna make mine pretty simple just for our purposes. Chat with the creator of the periodic table. He can help you solve the riddles. I probably put something more whimsical on here when I gave it to my kids. And so then you've got your read aloud voice. I like to pick a voice that kind of matches the character that I'm doing. And so this is really your configuration for the character chatbot. I mentioned it's minimal input, and I was not lying. It's just the name of whoever you want your kids to talk to. You teach history, maybe it's a historian or a war hero. You teach English, maybe it's an author. You teach music, maybe it's a musician. Those are all the subjects I have in my brain right now. But whatever it is that you teach, find somebody that you want them to talk to and throw it in here in the bot. That's all you need is their name. All right, so you've got it configured the way that you want it. It looks good. Check this out. Click next. Now you get to test what you just built. And so this is a little preview, or this is what am I trying to say? This is a look at what the students are going to see. When you give this to the students, this is how it will look for them. And so I'm gonna go ahead and click generate. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a sample of how Dimitri is. He's an interesting little character. And so this is such a really cool tool because it embodies the person that you put into the tool, and it really makes the kids feel like they're talking to this person. Like I said, this guy's from the 19th century. He did all of his good work in the 1860s, died not long after that in a pretty terrible lab accident, I should say. And so it talks just like him. It talks like an old guy from the 1800s, and I think it's really cool. So when I give this assignment to my kids, I always tell them, talk to this AI respectfully, like it's another person. There's somebody that's here to help you. Give them some context for why you're here. You don't want to just start throwing information at people. And so I encourage my kids to kind of give some sort of context to the bot. And so they might say something like, I have some riddles about, there's that typing thing, about elements on the periodic table. Can you help me solve them? So I like for my kids to interact with this in a respectful way. I'm trying to teach them how to behave in the world. So let's start with the computer, right? And so it's going to be receptive, and it's going to say, all right, I'll help you out. And so I'll throw just a little riddle in here so that way you can kind of see how it works. I have an element with 8 protons and forms a negative charge. Let's see what Dmitry Mendeleev has to say about that. It should be oxygen. Oh, what do you know? So it's really cool. He kind of walks them through the different parts of the clues and puts them back onto the periodic table and gives them some of that information. And he gives them opportunity if they want to learn more about the element, you know, they can say, learn more, please, if they're really, really excited. Or they can go on to their next riddle. So anyway, you have tested your customization. I just have too much fun with this sometimes. So you've tested your customization. It looks good. It's interacting with your students the way that you want it to. We'll go ahead and click save. And you have customized your tool. Assuming you have other tools you want to do, go ahead and do that. But once you are done, you can go ahead and click launch room, and drum roll. Once it loads, it's going to come up with your options for how you can give this to your students. QR codes, Google Classroom. I typically just grab the URL and put it into their assignment, but you can do that, copy your code and give it to your student. So that is the short and dirty of putting together a character chatbot. Super, super easy. If you get a really good idea, throw it in there, give it to your students. I promise you they're gonna have a great time. And we actually have a little bit of a surprise for you, Amber.
Yes, we sure do. Someone just kind of stole my thunder in there because they said preview as a student. And it's like, yes, you want to preview it as a student? You're about to do so. I'm going to pop this in the chat for all of you now, and it's going to give you the ability to now play around in a student room that Erin has customized for you with all the periodic table things, going to test your knowledge in there as if you were a student. But if you haven't seen how simple it was for her to create those things, she put one name in there. She put one grade level in there and created this very cool custom chatbot. I think someone asked the question earlier, Erin, if you wanted to answer that. They said, "Where did you get the riddles from?"
That was a lab in the curriculum that I had. It was a lab that they were supposed to do something else with, and I wasn't super fond of that. So I just took the riddles out of the lab and created an additional assignment from that. But I probably think you could go to Raina and ask her to give you some elemental riddles. She'd be good at that.
I was just gonna say that. Why can use AI for that too? So, but yes, you can create the riddles. A lot of people will go to Raina and they will ask to build out like the prompting instructions or like the actual thing that they want the tool to do. So Raina can do that for you too. Like if you say, "I want you to build out a scavenger hunt for Huck Finn," someone talked about this, and being able to, have this much criteria and they get points for every time that they get something right. Like you can literally build out the prompting instructions in Reina and then copy and paste those into a custom chatbot so we can do exactly what you told it to do. So have no fear, anything is possible. And it really makes it super easy and fun for you to be able to do that. So yes, you're going to be able to try that out and it's going to be easy for you to just click, be able to then sign in with your name, no login required, and you'll be able to see all of the really cool custom chatbots that she created in there. You're going to be able to have access to keeping this. So if you want to, pin it, you want to be able to save it for later, bookmark it, whatever you want to do, you can do so. So we're going to give you about a couple of minutes to just play around in there. If you have additional questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll ask or answer any of those things. But yes, it is very cool. And to make the periodic table as cool as she just did, that's a feat. So
I think it's cool anyway.
yeah, well, that's only some people. I love that. So when you sign up, you can get a free account. Someone asked, "Do I need an account to get access?" So you would be able to sign up with an account to be able to get in there. But when you're joining as a student, you would just be able to take it through the teacher's account. It's literally just you putting in your name and you're going to pop into the platform and be able to use the tools. So no need for that, right, Erin?
Absolutely. Yep.
Exactly. So it is. It's very intriguing. It's very fun. Um, I use Reina. Yes, yes, yes. Some people, yeah, we don't always have all these ideas, like super creative ideas in our head some days, right? We need to be able to say, like, "Hey, let's go ahead and just uh, use Reina to come up with some inspiration, some ideas, some context," like someone was saying. So please, that's what you use Reina for, anything and everything. Yes. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions in here as you're playing around. My students asked me to make one for chatting with LeBron James in my Spanish class. Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, someone asked about characters from a book. Absolutely. That is something you can do as well. Anything that you can put in there, you can. So enjoy, have fun. Yes, Raina and I have become fast friends, Julie says. Uh, Perfect. Okay, well, play around in that, continue to keep that tab open. You'll be able to have all the things that you need in there to be able to see what is possible. But I'm going to go ahead and continue letting Dr. Erin Unruh continue with her conversation and tell you a little bit more before we wrap this up tonight.
I can't believe we're to the end already. I had so much fun. So I have walked you through kind of how I started my journey with no AI bad, and I am ending absolutely in love with it. I'm loving the benefits I'm seeing for my students. And so after kind of telling you the what, how, and the where, now I'm going to tell you the why. Why do I love Magic School? What do I see it doing for myself and for my kids? And so we'll jump right into this. Magic Student helps our students grow. Um, the independence and creativity that the students are allowed to have when you give them a Magic School room or a Magic Student tool, it is phenomenal. I think as educators, we all know that the students, no matter what grade it is, if it's kindergarten or seniors, everybody likes that little bit of independence. They like to be able to fly their plane every once in a while. And so instead of just a direct lecture format or whatever, put something cool into Magic School. Give them an opportunity to manipulate their own information, to learn from it, to ask questions in a format that they might not be comfortable with otherwise. And so Kind of tying into that, sparking interest and engagement. These kids are going to take your Magic School stuff that you give them and they're going to run with it. They are going to come up with the most creative, innovative questions, questions that you would have never thought of, questions that if they would have asked you, you would have said, hold on, I have no idea how to answer that. I've got some examples here on my slide of some really awesome questions that my students have been asking. An element that really benefits our oceans. That's a really cool question. And so it gets students excited. It gives them a format that they're familiar with, the computer and typing. And there's not a person right in front of them for judgment. And I think that's a huge thing that I've seen a lot too is you've all heard a kid say, this might be a dumb question, but of course it's not a dumb question. You're wanting to learn. There's no such thing as a dumb question. MagicStudent kind of eliminates that. They're not worried about judgment. They're not worried about, is everybody else in the class going to think this is a silly question? Does somebody else already know this? It gives them an opportunity to learn independently and to get excited about that. And I have loved seeing that in my classroom. In fact, I have kids ask me to make them rooms for stuff. I mean, assignments, not even for my class. They're like, I really need help with this. And so, make them something and give it to them. Um, Increasing accessibility is another one of my top reasons why I love Magic School. I have a student that does her coursework off campus. And so I have a Magic School room for her that I build for every unit that we do, every chapter that we do. So she has um, access to this material when you're not in the classroom. I make a joke and I tell my kids that you've got an online Dr. E. When you're not in the classroom and you're not sitting in front of me in front of the whiteboard, you can talk to somebody who knows the same stuff that I do, and they can help you with your assignments at home. And so I think that's important to realize that not all students have the same resources as everybody else. And so Magic School really helps bridge that gap and bring students together. And lastly, this is helping students learn how to safely and responsibly use AI. You know as well as I do that we're going to be taken over by AI here soon. It's going to be everywhere. People have to know how to interact with it. People have to know how to be responsible and safe. And so this is an incredible stepping stone to get our students there. This is a very short slide of all of the things that I love about Magic School for our students. But with it being Teacher Appreciation Week, teachers are magic, I wanted to go ahead and share a couple of things that Magic School does for us teachers, in case you aren't aware. Magic School provides us with such unique ways to deliver content. I can't tell you how many times I've spent an hour trying to figure out how am I going to teach this? And then I'm like, duh, go ask Magic School. So again, tying into that is Magic School has saved me so much time. Oh my goodness. Never make another rubric on Word again. Do not spend an hour messing with those boxes and doing all the shading. Don't do it. Go to Magic School, go to the rubric generator. You should have already have an assignment description that you're going to give to the students. You put that in the tool, tell it how many points you want. There's your 55 minutes saved in 5 minutes. All right. I teach chemistry, and so coming up with chemical formulas and chemical reactions all of the time is gruesome. Go into the worksheet generator, go into Reina. Can I have 50 balanced reactions, please? There you are. Over here on the right-hand side, I've got a group work activity that I gave to my students. I had a set of information I wanted them to have, but I didn't want to just talk to them for an hour like I'm talking to you. And so I put in the group work tool. I said, here's what I want them to know. Do something. And so it gave me a really awesome group project. And the last thing I have to talk about here is this classroom management tool. When this first came out, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed a little bit. I said, haha, what's it now about classroom management? I've got some chatty boys in one of my classes, and I thought I had tried everything to get them to, zip it, and nothing was working. So I thought, why not? I'll try it out. I typed in my issues that I was having, and it gave me 6 or 7 ideas. I've used them and they work. Oh my gosh. It was like a light bulb moment. They were talking and I thought, okay, I'm either gonna lose it or I'm gonna stay cool. And I stayed cool and I went with the Magic School route and I pulled them back in and they stopped talking. It was magic. There it is again. That pun was unintended. I'm getting on a tangent here. I absolutely love Magic School. It saves me so much time. And I'm not even gonna lie, sometimes on the weekend I get bored and I just pull into Magic School and start doing stuff for fun. Because it's awesome. So anyway, Magic School for us teachers It allows for the safe and trustworthy incorporation of AI in the classroom, coming from someone who wanted it nowhere near my content ever. I am comfortable. I feel safe having it in my classroom. I actually feel a little bit better knowing that my students have that support underneath me or behind me or beside me. And then lastly, it boosts confidence in AI use. It'll help you learn how to navigate the world around us. As we know, it is constantly changing. And so I want to say thank you to you all for having me here. You can find me on LinkedIn for Erin Unruh, and my email is at the beginning. Please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to chat with any of you, come up with some ideas on how you can get stuff rolling in your classroom, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
That was so awesome. You have so much love in the chat. It's not even funny. I mean, your principal is here, by the way. She's very proud of you. Uh, Jeremy is here. He is super excited about what you shared, but we hope that you got some really amazing things from what Dr. Erin has been doing and all the amazing stuff that she's creating through her chemistry classroom. I think that there is some really awesome things that I didn't even know could be possible with chemistry. And so I'm so grateful that you came. I think you were such a great presenter, very enthusiastic, fun, personable, and I think that in this Teacher Appreciation Week, that's what we needed is a little bit of fun, but also a little bit of inspiration today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be sending out the recording. We'll get you the deck that you need. We'll send out the room that she built if those of you that missed it. And thank you again. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And if there's any questions, please pop them in the chat or email us. I'm Amber at magicschool.ai. That's super easy to remember. And you can just pop them in there and I can get them where they need to go. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone says.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording.